So Adam, how do you feel about making your second zombie movie?
I feel kind of accomplished.
And how do you feel about the creation of the zombie now?
The creation of the zombie from then to now is astonishing. Yeah. We got some this here. We got some of Sammy. We got Sammy Hagar on. So make sure you get a good picture of him. Guys. You got Stephanie over here getting the blood. I mean, I don't think I've seen Stephanie with her hand as bloody as that before. I mean, she's doing it, man.
See, well, there is a little kind of sick pleasure in throwing blood on people.
Well, aside from a genre which is extremely popular, being zombie horror, I would have to agree with what I've heard before. It's a lot about the human condition, about what it's like when you are faced with annihilation and the lengths you'll go to survive. Zombies, man, who doesn't love zombies? I grew up in Pittsburgh, and one of the things that one of my first real horror movie experiences was Dawn of the Dead. I saw it on something called Chiller Theater. It's a genre. I mean, zombies have been around forever, and people are continually fascinated with them. Books, movies, it's zombies. Need I say more? I actually got a call from Adam. He had seen me on another project, and it was interesting. I was actually kind of flattered that he actually called me. He had me in mind when he had written the character of Marshall, and he gave me a call to ask me if I was interested in being part of it. Never having had a part written specifically for me, I jumped at it. Actually, I kind of enjoyed what I read in the script, and Adam seemed to be a pretty cool guy, and it turned out he was a cool guy. An opportunity to put something together. I had never done a zombie film before. I thought it was a very easygoing bunch. They had a group vision. They all knew what they wanted, having done horror films before. Understood the undertaking they were about to embark on was pretty big. A lot of the independent shoots I've done, I've never seen anything on this magnitude. As one of my castmates had mentioned, the ability to shut down a main street in a town is a pretty big deal. The vision that they had, I think, was carried off. They knew what they wanted, and one of the things I really enjoyed was the fact that they allowed the actors to do what actors do, and do work, bring something to the table. In the film, in the first part of the film, you'll see an old farmhouse. Now, when we first checked out the farmhouse, I guess we're trying to figure out where we're going to shoot in this house. It hadn't been lived in years. And the way it was told, explained to me that the person who actually owned the house had died in the house. So of course we're creepy stories and a bunch of other things. But as we're exploring the house, location hunting, I'm walking in one of the back bedrooms, and I actually fell through the floor. The floor literally crumpled beneath me, and one of my legs, my right leg, actually went down through the floorboards. I didn't get hurt, didn't pick up any splinters, and I wish that the camera was rolling. Adam said the same thing, because that would have been absolutely awesome if that had happened. That was probably one of my most memorable experiences. That and the zombie attack in the attic that ultimately leads to my demise. I know that one great thing about independent films is it gives people who've not done this type of work an opportunity. And I had a ball working with Dan. There was definitely there was a lot of growth that happened from the initial read to what you've seen on the screen. And I thought that he really stepped up, was able to create a rich character. And for someone who had never worked on film before, I was actually pretty impressed with what he was able to do.
Well, I thought it was really ambitious when I first read it, and I was impressed with how everything did get pulled off, especially some of the larger scenes. I thought they did a great job with that. The character I portrayed would be explained as a lifer. Pete was pretty much somebody who's been in the system forever. He's been at the same job, kind of looking for his retirement. Probably a little sadistic, takes pleasure in the misery of the characters, the prisoners. Knew Adam, and he fortunately asked me to audition. After my audition, they thought I'd be good for the role of Pete.
I don't want a word out of any of you!
On the surface, it's a horror movie, it's a zombie movie. But really, it's about more than that. It's about survival in extreme situations, and what our nature is. Kind of like a Lord of the Flies type of situation. If society would collapse, how would we react? I think that's what it's about. Yeah, you can look at it at the surface level, but you can look at the deeper side of it too. I'm really only in the production for the first part, so most of my characters are guards and prisoners. So I'd have to say my favorite character is Marshall.
Hello? Anybody home?
You know, I think if I could have been somebody other than Pete, I would have been Marshall. It's a great character, and I think Richard did a great job with that.
I'm sorry, pal.
Well, I thought it was really ambitious when I first read it, and I was impressed.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Adam Steigert here with the lovely Amber Brooke, Bloody Betty herself. We're just going to try and get an audio test here just real quick, just to make sure everything works, and then we'll get into the festivities of today and things. So first off, let me just make sure that I can that we're hearing everybody okay. Amber, can you hear me okay on that end?
Yeah.
Is it streaming okay on the audio?
I think so.
Okay.
I hear you just fine and dandy, Adam.
All right. We're sorry about this because there was actually a little technical difficulty when we kind of started this whole thing up today. So, of course, I get it ready for us to do, and then, yeah. So, of course, I'm just checking all of our stuff to make sure we are actually live. Yeah, it looks like it's live. So, with that being said, if you can hear me, which it sounds like everybody can you hear Amber? Can you hear
me now?
Can you hear Amber? Hey, Terror Tuesday. Who is that? You? Oh, that's you. Oh, all right. Yeah. All right. Cool. Can you hear yourself by chance?
I can.
I can too. So Amber is going to be here today with us just to kind of go over everything and watch the film. Now, if you're expecting the film to, be able to watch a film and, not have any like commentary, I guess that's the right phrase, for it, then you've come to the wrong place. We are going to talk over the film. We're going to talk about the movie. We're going to talk about how everything happened, based on the requests from all the people out there that were wanting to just kind of know more about this film. So without further ado, let me start that by taking this off. And, can't take that off because that is the wrong person. That is Amber there, and we want the video. I'm telling you guys, today's been one of those days, so I apologize profusely. All right, well, we're good now. So let's go ahead and check that out, and let me clear this up. Okay. I don't know what happened here. It's like messed up everything. Yeah, I know. I don't know what we are doing here. It's like the world is falling apart on us. Let's see. This is not right. Something.
The zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a zombie apocalypse indeed. So where is the screen capture for this? Okay, so this is the screen capture. I don't know why. Okay, so let's go ahead and play it and see if it starts. Oh, it does. Okay, so I think I messed up something here. So, geez, man, this is really an embarrassment.
No, it happened.
Yeah, unfortunately. So let me just reposition everything. Jeez. See, now look at that. It's already there. So now where is you?
I'm here.
You're here. You're here, but I don't see you here anymore. And I don't like that. Because it's not screen capturing you. So hold on a second. Let me re-screen capture you now. Okay. And then, oh my God, we're so close. I really feel like very unprofessional with this. I really do.
Oh, you had it all set up. It's not your fault.
Yeah, I know. So there's that. So let's see if we can get the movie to play now. And we'll talk about it, and hopefully it'll be a better experience than what this has been thus far. I just got to figure out which box it is, of course. No. Okay. So here we go. So this is the alternate beginning of the film. And this is the scene from a different film I made that I ended up adding into this. So it gives you a little bit prospect of what's happening in the film. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So here is the film. We're starting it again. This is the opening of the movie. Somewhere is where we're at. I'm with Amber Brooke, Bloody Betty that is, and I am Adam Steigert, the director. And together we're going to try and get through this technical defected event tonight that we've been having. So this here is an adding to the original film that was basically after the fact. So that we had shot the film, and then we wanted to talk about how the infection actually ended up spreading. So we ended up doing this little backstory, kind of in the realm of like Return of the Living Dead, homage type feel, and ended up doing this little segment with the canister, the cliche canister, So that begins to the infection, and there you go, and it brings us into the movie. This was, Amber, I think this was like my second film I ever did on a big level, but I co-directed this film with Stephanie Vlozinski, who became Stephanie Andrews, who became back to Stephanie Vlozinski. She's a musician artist. You might even know her.
She sounds familiar.
Yeah, I can't recall the name of the band at the moment, but we had a falling out, unfortunately, and we made this film together. But she's in it, so maybe you'll catch on to her as we go. But thank you for just kind of allowing us to get through all the technical ends of this madness. This film was so big. I don't know if you knew this, Amber, but we shut down a whole city village over this. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I was actually going to ask you that on here because cars are all flipped over and stuff like that. Oh my god. I wonder if you sectioned off a whole town or
Yeah, we did. We definitely did, and that's towards the end of the film. There's many different versions of this film. There was actually a much longer version of this film that even had to be cut down more because there was an issue with how do you want to say it, language, and because this was our first film, we took a lot of influences from other films. So we were we didn't think this movie would become as big as it did, and of course it did. And here we are years later trying to fix it, and finally, after all these years, the copyright issues were fixed. Mainly music, because when I was younger making these movies, I didn't have the ability to do music, so I would gravitate to other musicians, and we would play the music. But that's why we ultimately ended up correcting it, is because it just it needed that extra correction to it.
Well, this is a fun scene here. Going into the house. I wonder how bad it smelled in there.
True story about that house. Somebody actually died in it, and they died in the bathroom. So you see, there's like a cobweb in that shot there. That cobweb actually was a real cobweb. Like, this is the type of filmmaking that we would go back to from like guerrilla filmmaking, but also being just a little bit more professional than guerrilla filmmaking.
Oh yeah, I can see the cobweb. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and the one thing about this scene too, the actor Richard Satterwhite, during rehearsal, actually fell through the floor. And when we didn't have cameras rolling, but he fell through the floor. Thankfully, it was only like this much, but he straight up fell through the floor, and unfortunately, or fortunately, we didn't have any other issues besides that. But being in this house, it was just so gross. And somebody ended up buying this years later, by the way. Somebody ended up buying this house years later, and when they bought it years later, they remodeled it all. So that to me is interesting.
Yeah, where was it located?
This is in North Collins, New York.
Okay.
Probably far from where you are, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're a little bit farther from there. But yeah, it was just this house that my aunt owned, who has passed away now, and it was like gifted to her, and it was, she said yes, so we went up there and we just shot this whole film the best we could, and you know, here we go years later. And the thing is, no one here is real actors besides, you know, very few select people. You'll notice them on screen. Richard Satterwhite's one of them. Timothy Dugan is another one, but you know, they're not. The rest of them were just kind of friends or acquaintances that I'm like, hey, you want to make a movie? And there we went.
I'm sure they had a blast too, though.
Yeah. Oh, I would tell you, yeah, they did have a blast, but this was the type of film you started on at 8 in the morning and then you ended at, 6 in the morning.
Oh yeah, I've done that. I'm doing that tomorrow.
And the thing too with this whole thing is, Richard Satterwhite gets killed off so early in the film, and the whole goal was to be like to the audience, now what? Now that the main story arc that we're kind of following, the main character, is taken away from you, like, who is the hero of this film? So those are the things that I really liked working for and doing when I was making this film. But nowadays, half the stuff that we did in this film you wouldn't do. Like, that's a real shotgun. It had a lock on it, of course, so it wasn't like you could actually fire it. But that one looked so good on camera that we had a gun guy. He was all safe. Came out there, gun was locked up, and we would use it in the scenes.
Oh wow, I had no idea that was a real one.
Yeah. I do not recommend that. This film is what caused me to never use any type of real firearms. But again, it had the gun lock chain through it, so it wasn't like it could be fired. But yeah, I mean, it's so crazy because I look back at this film and I'm like, we were shooting in schools, we were shooting in city streets, and we're using real firearms. And like the officers who were on set that watched the perimeters those days, they actually did gun checks and stuff. It was required and stuff. So it was cool. And it was so cool to have so much of the community too be a part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure the community was really excited to see that there was this awesome movie being filmed in their area, so they would want to be a part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Now these little kids look like they're having fun. Did you just get like random kids from the neighborhood?
Well, I want to say yes. That was one of the problems that we had the most of is having kids on set, because like I did not want to have a trillion children on set because it makes your film look different. You know, it doesn't make your film look like it's real because you just have kids walking around. So anytime we had kids come out, they were always like in the far back, so that they looked bigger than they really were. Now sometimes like this shot here, we didn't do that, but yeah. So this is the end of this house, but it would not be the last time it would be in a movie made by me. So just know that.
Okay. Now that scene with like the intestines and stuff, what did you use for that?
Well, for the intestines and things, I think these were just fake prosthetics. The makeup effects artist Rod Durick did do quite a bit of the effects on there, and I think that was just a prosthetic that was ordered, and we had like here we use it again here. But I'm always mad at myself at this shot because there's a kid actor in this, and remember, like I'm telling you, I didn't want to have kids in every element. I had adults everywhere, but not, somebody decided to choose this child to come, or teenager, to be in this one segment, and I'm like, why did you choose this person? But anyways, that's a different story. That's much long time ago.
Well, it was probably a cool experience for them though, but I definitely understand why.
Oh yeah. I know that those children now. There's a picture somewhere of me where I'm like fist bumping some of the children from the set, and they're loving every minute of it. We're behind the scenes like dragging ass. Half the time we didn't even know what we were shooting. There was a script, but we weren't following it almost at all.
Improv. We
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, it's definitely a form of improv for sure.
They
Let's
should have
see.
played soccer in that scene. You should have had them all trying to play soccer.
What was that?
You should have had them all trying to play soccer in this scene, like.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Soccer. Alex McBride. This got him a role in another movie because of this role right here, where he comes up and he's all like, with his baby, he calls it his machine gun, and yeah, it's just interesting. It's just interesting.
Now, do you ever want to do another zombie film?
Actually, surprisingly, now that you said that, I'm actually working on another zombie film, a Western zombie film.
Oh,
And
I'm intrigued.
But by working, I don't mean I'm doing it, and just it's we're seeing if it can be done. Is what we're seeing. Yeah, and there's
I'm sure it
Stephanie, by the
can.
way. Stephanie Vladzinski, who also co-directed this, but I was like the primary director on this film because she had to do so much acting. It required my attention to be focused elsewhere, so that's one of the reasons it is what it is.
Oh, snap. Now, how much blood did you use for this?
How much blood?
Yeah.
Hold on a second here. Yeah, I used buckets. There probably was, I don't know, probably between 12 and 15 buckets of slime, or not slime, excuse me. That's another film.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's right. Blood and guts, blood and stuff. What's so crazy about this movie though is the deaths are so grotesque.
Like there's one, well, we just watched one where the woman gets shot in the head and you see the blood splat out behind her. That's a mixture of like practical effects and on-set effects. When they're working together right, that's when you know a good effect is coming off.
Oh yeah. I dig the guitar player zombie. That's pretty cool.
You know, unfortunately, that guitar player zombie, he just passed away.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yep. Yeah, he did just pass away, unfortunately. But he will be forever legacied in this here film.
Yeah, that's a sick guitar.
Yeah. He brought that out himself. This is two different houses, by the way. So the basement is a different house, and the exterior of the house is different as well as somebody else's. So, yeah. So we're shooting two different locations at any one time on here, and the outside of this house got so bloody as a result of all the extra people putting their body parts on it. The house was abandoned, so we kind of like had to make sure that it was rinsed off and cleaned and all that after the film was done. But like Sarah Manzella, who's here right now, she's with the girl with the gun. She was just this, hot girl in high school that I'm like, hey, you would look good in a movie. You want to be a part of this movie I'm making? She came out and she said, yeah. And then we actually built a friendship and actually made another movie together, which was Ombus, and then, Ombus 2 later on. But again, take note of all the blood and handprints that you see getting on this house, because somebody had to go back and scrub that off.
Man, I would have just left it because that had character. I got blood splatter all over my house, and I love it.
Yeah, you have to have stains there, Bloody Betty, all over your everything.
I have a whole blood splattered wall and stairs.
Yes, I can imagine. So, funny story about this. We were doing setup for this scene, and I asked everybody just to kind of get into position, and we were going to take a group photo, and everybody started moaning. Like, it wasn't a video, so everybody was moaning throughout the whole thing, thinking it was, like a video feed of them. So they were practicing, I guess, but...
Hey, it works, huh?
Yes. I have grown to learn so many things from this film that I went on to take. Like, I don't make movies without insurance anymore. I didn't. This was the first film I made insurance on, or did insurance on. And the first day we shot, Richard fell through the floor. So that insurance could have come in handy, depending. But nonetheless, he was okay. We're okay. We moved on. But one of the big things about this film is there was so many people. It actually started part of the Buffalo film community, believe it or not. I think this was the foundation, and then the next one was Ombus that really kind of started creating a community of people that wanted to make film. And if you look back in this film, if you really look at all the extras and all that, you can see some of the up-and-comers that, end up becoming, filmmakers or actors themselves later, all these years later.
That's awesome. You kind of like gave them their little start, their push.
Yeah. I've always had a knack for that. Like, I really do like supporting people, and I like embracing talent. I like to embrace the local talent. And, But one of the things, we shot the whole film, and after we shot the whole film, I was like, there wasn't enough zombie scenes. So we went back and shot a ton of extra filler zombie scenes. And you won't be able to tell where they are, but I can tell you where some of them are. And we just saw one of those scenes with the fire axe and the zombie walking next to the car by the street. We needed more transition, and I'm like, there are too many kids in this movie, and we cannot continue just to have kids in this movie. So that's where that ended at.
more zombies, the better.
Yes, that is the truth. And I went on the news to say such a thing, and the makeup effects people got all pissed at me and saying, "Why would you tell them more?" Because I actually used the phrase "the more the merrier," is what I used. So, not the best thing to say on a local news channel because we had like 1,000 something people show up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure the special effects makeup artists are like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, in fact, that's one of the first films that Kristen, who is now my wife, worked on, where she was a zombie, yes, but we have a shoot that you'll see towards the end of the film and in the climax that has like close to like 500 zombies in it, and we needed all the hands we could possibly get to help do these people up. They got there at 11 a.m. in the morning, and they didn't shoot until about 8:30 at night, 9 o'clock. Long day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine how long that would take.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, did you guys have permission to, like, film in this? Is this a school?
Yeah, in fact, this school has been shut down since it wasn't because of us, of course. It was still active, but to about 2 years after we shot there, I'm pretty sure it was 2 years or a year after, they ended up deciding to shut it down. So they ended up shutting it down, and as a result, yeah. Here's another one of those scenes, by the way, that I needed more zombie extras, so we added the segment into that. And then one of the reasons... Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
This is where you can have zombie children coming out.
Oh, no, man. The zombie children thing is definitely tired. It is tired. This was a hard film to make, though, but because we had to go to a board of directors in a village of Angola, New York, to just try to get permission to shoot in some of these locations, and they were more than willing to do it. We honored them on the stage with a big plaque and all that they hung up in their township or town hall. If you get a chance and you're watching this, they're on YouTube or on Tubi or any streaming service right now. You can watch the behind the screams making of this film. It's a full-length documentary about it, and it does show the plaque and the stuff that we gave to the commissioner. Or not the commissioner, I'm sorry, the mayor, or deputy mayor, I should say.
That's really awesome. I'm sure that means a lot to them, and obviously it does because they have it displayed. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I look at the crowds of people that you see here in some of these shots. These are people that went to school with me that I'm just like, hey, I need some zombies. Do you ever want to be a zombie? Because this would be the perfect opportunity for you to do such a thing. So yeah, this was interesting, and it's also interesting to see some of the women that I've gone in relationships with throughout these films, and you can see a little bit of the history of that too if you really know and you look deep. But it's funny because I met Kristen before this film. But Kristen and me weren't really a thing for many years until after that. So it was just, it's pretty cool. I don't know. It's uniqueness about it all, and then the talent behind this. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really neat. And then you have Kristen in this.
Yes.
I noticed her right away.
Yeah. Did you? Yes. She is the zombie schoolgirl zombie. She's in the, she's coming up actually. I don't think she's happened yet. And she's a trooper. She got all done all up. Now these are fake weapons, of course. There was only one real weapon, and it was the hero gun that was always underneath lock and key, and always inspected before we shot. Yeah, so, I mean, we just shot somebody in a high school. Think about that. You know, nowadays you would not want to do that. In fact, to be honest with you, even those days you would not want to do that. But they were so cool with it. They not cool with it in the sense of doing it, but like the camaraderie of actually being able to make a movie. And yes, there were guns, but there were, you know, rules and things that we had to abide by. You know, there were police on most of these sets, like police presence. So, yeah, I mean, there she is right there. Kristen,
Yeah.
she gets a close-up.
Yeah, I can imagine they felt a little uneasy having guns on school property, but like knowing what it entails to make a movie, I'm sure they were totally fine with it.
Yeah, like I said, I'll never do that again. This film was shot in 2010. I've come a long way from that. So, you know, it's one of those lessons you learn as a filmmaker, because any accident could happen. You know.
Oh yeah, you never know. I mean, you hear like horror stories on like Hollywood sets of like stunt guns and stuff
Yeah.
hurting people. Like, oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not a believer that firearms in movies need to be having the. I mean, does it look cool? For sure, if it has the discharge and the smoke and all that. But at the end of the day, that is not something that we now need to have. We have come a long way as artists to be able to prevent even more so by using the digital element of things. But,
Yeah.
you know, some people like the digital element, some people don't. This is
It looks like fun.
well, you know, it had its moments. It had its moments. I love this scene because it is so like. I remember shooting it because I actually shot that shot, and I didn't shoot all the scenes, but I shot most of the scenes, and I loved this shot because I felt like there was such a dynamic angle to the way the two actors were positioned. Here's another insert shot.
I like the different outfits, the different variations in everyone's clothing and stuff, so it doesn't look like it was all like uniformed and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, some of it was done in a way like the convicts. They were all to be done in a uniformish file.
Right.
But it was like, I want theme zombies. So I said, if you came out as a theme, you'd get more screen time. So if you look, you'll notice there's a lot of actors out there that have screen time that are like either military or EMT or schoolgirl or bride. There's a bride out there. There's a couple brides. Look at this one. He's a baseball player.
Yeah.
Now this scene used to be longer too, but had to be really cut down when we did the recut of the film. Mainly because it dealt with subject material that should not be in one of my films.
Now, did everybody do their own stunts?
Everybody did their everything. that was this film. Like this film also inspired a book to be written, by the way, which I thought was pretty cool. I didn't see any residuals from that, so I'm not going to endorse any said book. Nor were licensed photos given, but we're all over that book, baby. So we'll just let that go.
Well, what the heck?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like, it's cool that, like, they took from your movie and wanted to write something, but definitely give props where props are due.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite kill of the whole movie coming up here. The police officer here, or excuse me, the ex-convict officer comes in to kill George, he's like, pull the fucking trigger, and he does. I mean, he doesn't even hesitate. Watch this. This is good. I love this. There's certain things in each film that you can pick out that you just love as a director. This is it, right here. No hesitation. Zero hesitation. Motherfucker be dead.
He did.
Now, this is a question I've been asked quite a few times, by the way, because this actor comes in and he's going to shoot one of the zombies, but the convict guard thinks that he's there to kill him. So, would he have killed the Jennings character is the question. We don't know.
Will we ever know?
No, we'll never know. What is funny about this movie though is after it was written, or after we shot it and we screened it, we like sold out 2 big screenings of this of like 600 people, and yeah, it was quite big, and I decided I was going to write 2 more sequels, and we were going to shoot them back to back. That never happened.
Well, dang.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, do it. You can do it now.
Well, you know, as I've gotten older, it's gotten harder and harder to make movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're in the acting realm of it. If you get it more into production, you're going to really feel it a little bit.
Yeah, we actually want to start writing our own movies and stuff, but I know there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it.
And you got to really be strategic, too, because you could be wasting quite a bit of money doing this. Like, I pretty much funded this entire film that we're watching right now, and it cost about $20,000 in 2010. And I did have other people help invest, of course, but it wasn't enough to get even a significant movement on making the film happen. This is one of those films where no one got paid, including myself. To this day, I still don't get paid. But you know, quite a people have found a little niche for this film and seem to really enjoy it. And it's good to revisit it from time to time to talk about the stories and the elements of this film itself.
Well, I mean, I guess it's like, it's more of a learning experience too. Like, it helped you with your other films after too, and it's also a fun experience, like, even if you didn't get paid and all of that. So.
Well, yeah, it definitely helped me make the other films. Like, this film showed the potential of what I could do as a director, and then producers caught on to that and assisted in Omba's Alien Invasion, which was the next film after this. And thankfully they did, because we went into that film with no money starting off too. So, but we don't. That's a story for a different day, I suppose. But yeah, the guy here, Kyle Andrews is his name. He ended up marrying Stephanie, then divorcing, or Stephanie divorcing him almost a year, I think, after they got married, if I'm not mistaken. But he was a close friend of mine in high school, and he's like, yeah, I'll come out and I'll act in your film. I'm pretty sure this is what got him and Stephanie together, was this movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a little zombie love story.
Zombie love story. Here's an insert shot that we had to go back and shoot because we needed more zombies to die. Because, you know, in a zombie film, you expect zombies to be in it.
This is just a field at the school.
Yeah, this was a field at the school at the time of shooting it, sure. And nothing too crazy with it, but I do remember this was the day after we had shot the ending of the film, which was this big scene with all these cars tipped over and all that. So the crew was like totally wasted out of our minds. Not like drunk or high or stoned or anything. Just we were so tired. We were spent. So we get there, and there's a crowd of people standing there asking to be extras. And I go, we had no extras planned for this day to be zombies. And they're like, we really want to be zombies. And I'm like, all right, fine, go. And I begged the effects artists, and we shot that shot. So they just were in the field there near the school. One of my biggest influences was Dawn of the Dead. And I really like the dynamics of having the isolationism of being in the school. You know, I wanted to do more with it. If I had a bigger budget, I would have. But it tells the story enough, you know.
Yeah, that rooftop scene kind of gave me like Dawn of the Dead vibes right there.
Oh yeah, for sure, and you know, you can't see it in here right now, but behind me over in this general area is a plaque, and that plaque is a check signed by George Romero. One of the highlights of my career was having this film, and my name tagged with George Romero's name on IMDb. It was the highlight of my career.
That's amazing.
And
you
I
had to been tickled pink.
tickled something, yeah. And I will tell you that I saw George Romero speak several times, and never, not once, did I get starstruck to go and want to meet him. But he was such an important influence in the creation of me making these movies. In fact, even the zombies. I'm not a runner zombie. I don't like those runner zombies. Zombies are supposed to walk.
Must be slow.
Yeah. Now the ending here is, it is pretty big. It's pretty awesome. But I remember you see the weapon that the one officer's holding there. He brought this bag that he made at home, and he's like, you know, this is definitely not legal stuff. so he's like, let's just shoot it real quick, and then let me tear it all apart and tear it down and stuff. So like he had I don't know if at the time the Skull Crusher was illegal or not, but I know that the Skull Crusher was there. The schoolgirl, look at this. You got a schoolgirl zombie, and you have well, actually, you have so many different theme zombies here. You had the clown zombie. You had like bride.
I love it. I love the variation.
Oh yeah.
You can't just have like plain zombies. The schoolgirl zombie got clowns. So.
Yes. This is the scene where with the whole village and everything else, and they just came out in droves. And we got to a point where we stopped making people up and just started throwing blood on people.
Hey, it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that looked tasty.
Maybe you're right.
One of the things I did to try to get extras is I reached out to the Lakeshore High School, and I asked them, I put up a flyer in their school for extras, and we had tons of kids come out, teenagers too, which is what we wanted, of course. This dog here, eating the skin on the leg. I do believe in zombie dogs and animals, by the way.
Yes. Look how cute the pupper is.
Yeah. Yeah. And these...
What did you...
Yeah, go
What
ahead.
did you use to and get the dog to eat it?
Actually, surprisingly, I think we just put some ice cream on the ground.
Perfect.
Seriously, I think it was just ice cream. Some of these shots as we go through the city are so changed now. And it's only been like, well, the film was shot in 2010, so whatever that is, a little more than, it's 2024, so what is that, 14 years? Or is that 10 years?
Yeah.
14 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the locations have been changed or whatever have you. I was actually shooting this scene dangling over a carport, like a parking garage. So I was like
Yeah.
hanging out of that garage while I shot this.
Dangerous.
Yeah, but it makes the film look bigger. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it looks huge.
You hear that? Yeah, it sounds like the ghost. Come on, we gotta keep moving.
Now Kristen's in this shot too.
She's a superstar.
Yeah, but she's not the same character. So if you can find her, you're yeah.
Did you have to pay the geese? to get in the shot?
Yeah. All union dues. All union dues.
Now them staggering down the stairs, were you nervous that they were gonna fall?
Yes. That was actually a true thing. I was actually petrified that they were gonna fall. And thankfully no one actually did fall. So yeah. But it was so cold out that day we did some of this. So this was shot in 2 different days, or 3 different days. And the one day we had like a guy come out as a swimsuit zombie. And he looked so purple. That's like real purpleness. Because, you could see him right here. He's in the far back. He's got blood on his chest. This day, nice and warm. This other day, super cold. And
Oh no.
yeah. This was a great shot with the zombies. But like some of the guys, they got a little carried away because I was standing in the water with the camera, and they were all kind of like digging at each other and towards me, and we kept creeping further and further into the water while I had this camera, and eventually I had to call cut, thank God.
It looks cool though.
Oh yeah. This is another one of my favorite shots I've ever done coming up here. There's a head gag that happens coming up here, which I got to tell you, not to spoil it, the close-up is actually behind a piece of glass. That piece of glass is actually a window in my bedroom. Still to this day.
Wow.
To this day.
That's cool.
Yeah, well, stories of your house.
That's right. Gives it a little more character. Something fun to talk about.
Yes. And I will tell you that this starts the beginning of one of my favorite scenes I've ever done. And it's because there's so much character and arc and story feeling in this moment. And did he return? Oh, no, something definitely happened. He knows it. We've only seen a little bit of it. You can see our military zombies are there. And there it is. Now here comes the head gag that I'm referring to coming up here. When you watch it, the blood squirt towards the camera. So it was a scalp of the guy's head, the actor, that had tomatoes put in the back of it with a hair wig over it with a pressure line and some blood, of course. So when he got shot, it splattered back towards the camera, which was behind a piece of glass.
That's so sick. I love that.
Yeah.
That's genius.
Yeah, and that is the little film of Prisoners of the Dead. This is just a little tease to show that he did survive, because if we were going to make another movie, I had to have some of my friends return, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Now, the song playing here in the background is the guy with the guitar that passed away. His band. Yeah. So, what do you think? Any questions that stick out to you? as we finish
I
the.
think it's fun. I love zombie movies. I'm here for gore. I love the intestines. That's I love that. Um, what inspired you? I know you said, like you were going to write more, but what inspired you to write this one?
This one was honestly, we were just trying to make a zombie film based on films, like zombie films. So we were trying to take little bits and pieces of things that films had in them and trying to like homage it in a way where it was being respectful to the whole our story, of course, but also their stories. So that is where the inspiration came from, was like Dawn of the Dead. In high school, I wrote a script called School of the Dead, which is like a fraction of the element of them being in the school. But eventually, instead of like, this may sound silly, but instead of like tractor trailers in Dawn of the Dead where they block the doors, I use school buses. So
Yeah, it doesn't sound silly. It works.
yeah, it was just a different take, but unfortunately, I never got the budget to make that version of the film. But yeah, there were so many people that were on this film. As you can tell, the amount of extra is just crazy.
Oh yeah, there's a whole crap load of zombies, and like looking at your credits, there's so many people you had to credit.
Yeah, and we had this whole way of like signing people in, but some people did not sign their names properly. So there are misspelled names in there because we couldn't figure out how their spelling was for some people's names, the way that they wrote it. Now we had a whole process for this and stuff when they signed in, but it was not adhered as well because we got so many people at one time they couldn't keep up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you still work with like the same special effects artists and stuff on your other movies?
I do not. No, I do not. Not anymore. And that's because time, like every film, you go through different crews, different casts. You always work with somebody new, somebody different, and no one cast or crew is the same, which is the sad part about this experience. But I will tell you that it was a great film to make looking back on. Making it at the time, not so much.
I mean, working on any film, it's hectic and crazy in the moment, but then, once it's done and you look back on it, you're like, oh yeah, that was an amazing experience.
Yeah. So that is really the end of the film. There's nothing really more to do at the moment with that. Do you have any questions or anything that you want to throw out, or are you thinking we're pretty good?
I don't think I have anything else for you. You pretty much answered them all during the showing.
All right. Well, if you're watching this, my name's Adam Steigert. I'm the director. I want to say thank you for watching this. I got the Bloody Betty up there, Amber Brooke herself. There she is wearing her Ambas 2 shirt. You can see her soon in Turn Up the Night, which I got their CD, by the way.
Oh, snap.
And she's in Turn Up the Night, and she's also in Ambas 2, which comes out next year. What else do you have going on? Anything else?
259 is almost done.
Oh, is it?
Goodness. I can't wait to see that. And then I'm filming tomorrow, actually.
Oh.
Amityville Barbie. That's going to be fun. And gosh, so many more things. A version in February. So yeah, it's busy.
Yes, and you're always doing like horror art and blood art and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for you too. If you stayed till the end, thank you very much for humoring us and watching this. Sorry for any technical difficulties. Hopefully, Amber, you can join me again. And, if you get interested in helping support our endeavor, we're still trying to find a little more funding for Ambas 2. I'll play an ad for that right after this. But until then, I sign off for now, and I say have a good one. Anything else you want to add to it?
No, just thanks for joining.
All right.
Spooky.
Yes. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.